going to ask, has your screen changed, and can you see my mouse moving?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, and then what I want to do right now is pull this up to view, show the slideshow. Let me move this over here, and I have with me as well Marshall Ward. Marshall is your our contact, your contact in District 75. So Marshall, say hello.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Marshall Ward. I was the person who actually sent the email for the invitation. It's a pleasure to meet you. And my contact information was on that email that I sent. So if you need anything, please feel free to call me or send me an email. I'm happy to help.
Okay, so let's just move quickly. I want to stay within a 30-minute time frame, so I want to begin right now. So what I want to do is to help you accelerate the reading comprehension of your chronically struggling kids, and our goal is clear. What we want to do is to give you an opportunity to allow your kids to achieve their potential. Now, that said, I want to always review two facts that everyone should know about the teaching of reading. The first is that reading programs work, but they don't work for all students. So Failure Free is designed to work alongside of and in conjunction with other interventions that you are using in your building. And not only can you use it in the middle school after school program, but a lot of people don't realize that you can also use Failure Free during the day for those students who qualify for middle school after school and are in that 10 to 15-year-old age range. Am I correct on that, Marshall?
Yes. You can use the online seat licenses that the District 75 purchased for everyone for students in the after-school program, but you can also use it for during school hours as well.
Okay. Now, why is it that all programs fail to reach all poor readers? There's no one universal group. And when that occurs, we need to know that there are really three distinct groups of poor readers. There are kids a little bit behind, kids moderately behind, and you're really chronically failing students. It's very similar to RTI. Failure Free is not a Tier 1 intervention. Failure Free is a Tier 2, Tier 3 intervention. We want to help you with those kids that need moderate to significant changes. Now, the second fact is that the brain does compensate. We now know that there are two pathways for recognizing words. One pathway is phonic, the other pathway is visual. In a perfect world, both pathways work. They complement each other. But sometimes a pathway will falter, and when one pathway falters, the other pathway can pick up the load. So Failure Free is a non-phonic first, visually based alternative to help you for those kids that aren't initially responding to a phonics first approach. I'm not anti-phonics. You can use phonics alongside of us, because really what we're designed to do is to give you an opportunity to give these kids a chance to experience what it feels like to read with expression commensurate to their cognitive ability. Now, we know that that in our research that two published articles done by brain imaging researchers at Carnegie Mellon and MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, have shown that 100 hours of failure-free instruction actually helps you rebuild the white cortical brain matter in the brains of poor readers. And so that's what we want to do. We want to let you know that we have developed a methodology that will allow you to start to tap into the neuroplasticity of the brain.
You have to like call in so they can read and try to.
Okay. And
I can barely hear anything.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello?
I'm hearing you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So traditional interventions, in my opinion, are too slow and provide too little for our chronically failing kids, and they're never going to catch up. Many interventions are only going to introduce 2 or 3 words per story, maybe some up to 4 to 5. And that isn't what our kids need. Our kids need not slower, lower, and less. They need faster, higher, and more, as our first story clearly illustrates. So what makes us different? Why are we so unique? Well, we're the first intervention to have independent data showing that we have impact on students testing between 1.5 to 3 standard deviations below the mean. In other words, we have clocked over 2 million hours of direct instruction with those kids that are testing here. Most anybody can work with kids here, and our goal is to help you pick up those kids that are testing this far to the left. Okay, so all failure-free interventions are highly structured, they're extremely predictable, they're multisensory, they're data-driven, they're abundantly repetitious, and they're composed of the most comprehensible text for chronically struggling kids. Why structured? Because our kids don't do well in an unstructured situation. Why predictable? The more they understand what's coming next, the more they will be able to work independently. Why multisensory? Because the research is clear. Our kids need to hear it, see it, say it, do it when possible. Why data-driven? We don't want you to waste any time. We have a diagnostic prescription.
We should have a meeting with the assistant principal.
If you are,
and let's go over everything that you're worried about.
Would you please put yourself on mute if you are in a?
Because the only one that's sitting Jason is Jason.
Hello.
He hung up on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You just tell me what day you're available, and I'm going to come to the
Hello.
and we'll try to.
I'm trying to figure out how to put them on mute.
If you are hearing this right now, if you could go ahead and mute your end of the phone, that would be fantastic. That way we can go right through this. It'll be really streamlined. Thank you very much.
Good.
All right, very good.
Okay. All right. So going back to this. Data-driven, the diagnostic prescriptive allows you to pinpoint that your student's current academic English reading frustration level. And why is it abundantly repetitious? Because the research is absolutely critical, and this is one of the unique features of failure-free. As the IQ or the reading level of your student decreases, the need for repetition proportionately increases. That is a unique factor that is being overlooked in conventional interventions. They believe that they're too repetitious, therefore they're going to be boring. But that is not the case for our kids. Our kids need an abundant amount of repetition so that they can be successful at much higher levels. And the last is we know that when you use comprehensible text, you are giving students an opportunity to learn in the most meaningful fashion. Okay, so the model is the first one that provides abundant repetition, basic sentence structure, understandable story content for our population. We're the first one to remove comprehension roadblocks, unfamiliar content, vocabulary, sentence structure, abundant repetition, figurative speech, idiomatic expressions, pronouns, uncommon names, dates, and places. We are also the first intervention that will allow you to accelerate students in your building, in your class, who are chronically failing and stuck at Fountas-Pinnell levels A to M. So we're going to give you the opportunity to allow them to learn significantly more words within a much shorter period of time. We have a teacher's guide for implementing failure-free that we're sending out to you and is available to you. Marshall will get that to you. Marshall, how do they get that teacher's guide?
That teacher's guide is available the moment they log in or they create their account. When the teacher's account is created, an automatic email is generated and sent to the teacher that has their username, their password, and a PDF copy of what we call the Quick Start Guide with step-by-step instructions to get started. They can also access that Quick Start Guide the first time they log in underneath the PDF files of the teacher's tools, which will be found on the left-hand side of the page.
Okay, so we use a 5-step formula for reading success: diagnose, instruct, reinforce, demonstrate, and document. You have access, and many of you don't realize this, your software subscription gives you access to 3 interrelated software programs. You have the elementary solution that we're using to teach the 2,000 plus most frequently used words in the English language. Tier 2 words as a reading acceleration model for you kids that are for your students that are on standard diploma track. And then we have life skills, a school to career transition for those students with IQs as low as 35 and 40. 21 stories teaching 4 themes: getting a job, getting an apartment, getting the facts on drugs, and getting a driver's license. These are all available to you. Now, there are 11 entry points in the failure-free online diagnostic test from beginning first grade to SAT, ACT level of difficulty. And sometimes people think, well, we're just for the chronically failing, but we also can help you accelerate because we can pick up students who are frustrated, non-readers, who cannot read beginning first grade material, but we also are designed to help your higher functioning kids learn critical ACT level material. So please talk to Marshall and myself about how you can use us in an accelerated capacity with your regular track students. Failure Free's beginning software is called the Joseph's Readers Series. It starts and works with students who are virtual non-readers and is going to teach critical 1st to 5th grade academic English vocabulary that they must know. There are 27 stories of increasing complexity based on 4 color level thematic themes. The red level teaches 7 stories based on the theme going to the park, 59 lessons, beginning Lexile level that will teach mastery of kindergarten, 1st grade. Green level is going on the farm, 61 lessons, reading level, 1st, 2nd grade. Orange level, 2 levels, Orange A, Orange B, going on a train ride. 75 lessons, 7 stories, 2nd, 3rd grade academic English vocabulary mastery level. And then Teal 1, Teal 2, Teal 3 teaches beginning 4th grade, ending 4th grade, solid 5th grade. So 4 color levels, 7 entry points. Our beginning levels correlate extremely closely with leveled literacy initiatives. So if you're using Fountas-Pinnell or any other programs that are guided reading start from level A to Z, we can help you get your students to where they can master the critical vocabulary that will allow them to move into these programs. So our goal is first master our red, and then it opens A to F. Master green, that opens G to I. Master orange A, it opens J to M. Orange B, N to P. Teal A, Q to R. Teal B, R to S. Teal 3, T to B, our Verbal Master 1, W to Y, and Verbal Master 2, Z. So, this level of material, 275 online lessons, 27 Lexile-based stories, teaches 2,000 plus academic words. We have added a new 30-minute instructional period. You also have your traditional 45 to 60-minute direct teacher-guided instruction, and you have 24/7 availability online. Verbal Master is for grade 6 to 9, career track, regular diploma track kids, and Life Skills is that school to career 16 to adult. You have 2 instructional options now that are available to you. You have the first instructional option, which is teacher-led direct instruction. It is designed between 45 and 60 minutes. It is scripted lessons that are structured, explicit, easy to follow, systematic, then the online talking software, then the paper and pencil reinforcement activities. It is a 3-station direct instruction procedure. We will help you develop ability groups on your students. We generally like to have your class break into 3 ability groups. Station 1 is 15 to 20 minutes teacher-led. Language literacy, where you're a language teacher first, a reading teacher second, a content teacher third. You can't change the order. Then the students that are in this group will then go on to the talking software and work independently for 15 to 20 minutes on what you have taught, and then they will go to paper and pencil reinforcement activities. This is a good model, but sometimes it doesn't work because you have some students, you have too much diversity in your classroom, and you don't have the time to initially do direct instruction. So we have added a very exciting online computer-assisted instructional component that eliminates the need to start first with the direct teaching. This replaces that teacher-led. There is an online video clip that sets the stage by introduces that new part of the story that they're going to learn today and telling new words and phrases. This will allow you to serve more students without having to do the pre-teach in a one-on-one or a small group instruction. We're very, very excited about that. Your goal in both lessons, whether it's teacher-guided or computer-assisted, is to teach 1 page every either 45 to 60 minute or 30-minute instructional lesson if it's computer assisted. When they're done, your student will read with expression and comprehension a cognitively appropriate leveled reading booklet every 10 to 12 lessons. Now, everything starts by logging in. I'm going to have Marshall take you a little bit through this. Marshall.
Very good. And I'm going to switch over to my browser to show them the test demo account.
Okay.
All right.
Let them know you're there.
Yep. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just switching this over real quick. Everything starts by logging in. And you will go to failurefree.com or failurefreeonline.com. Either way, it takes you to the same page. The teacher, after they registered, or one of the admin teachers at the school is registered, or after we get the email from the AP or the principal with the roster of teachers and their email addresses, and we enter them ourselves, after we do that, we will the teachers will receive that email with their username and their password to get started, as well as the quick start guide. And so I'll show you what they see the very first time they log in. They log in by going right up here at the top of our homepage and entering their username and their password. And the first time they log in, there won't be any students right here. This is a demo account I use, and it's just has some sample fake students and data that I created. Let me see. Right on here, we have several different things to help out. Whether they're using the 30-minute or the 45 to 60-minute instructional model, they can still do the reading attitude survey with the students. And how that is executed is by clicking on the top green button up here that says RAS. And what the reading attitude survey is, it's a 15-question test where we measure the student's attitude towards reading and self-confidence on a 1 to 5 scale, 1 being low, 5 being high. And you can give this with all your students in the beginning of the year before implementation, and then at some point later on in the year or near the end of the year. And we can run reports to actually quantify how that student's attitude towards reading and their self-confidence has changed during the implementation of failure-free reading. So this is a unique feature for us as well that we're really excited about, and can give you some great data on how you're impacting the students' self-confidence and how you are impacting their attitude towards reading. So that is the RAS button right up here. It's real easy to kind of enroll a student. Here's that quick start guide we did mention. Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. If you could go ahead and hit mute on your end of the phone, that would be fantastic. Thank you very much.
What?
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. If you could hit mute on your end of the phone, that would be fantastic. Thank you very much. Okay, and so here's the quick start guide we talked about a second ago, and that quick start guide has the step-by-step instructions on how to get started, all listed for you right here on this page, and that is our quick start guide. We also have instructional sequence guides for different levels that you might be teaching. Either our Joseph Readers Elementary or our life skills level are all pointed out right here, and I'll show you an example of what that looks like. We have the different lexiles of the different stories, how many lessons are in the stories, the grade equivalency standard, all marked out for you right here on the different stories. And then the instructional sequence is outlined right here and approximately tells you about how many minutes each section would take. Now for the 45 to 60 minute instructional sequence that you would do with your students who need a little bit more help than the 30-minute model that we're also going to talk about. This is that instructional sequence where we do the step 1, which is the teacher-led direct instruction from the scripted teacher manual, which I'll show you. And then step 2, the talking software, which both, whether you are in the 30-minute model or the 45 to 60-minute model, both versions will be doing the talking software portion. And then finally, the step 3 is the independent activities that both versions will do, once again, the 30-minute model or the 50 to 60-minute model. We'll be doing these independent activities, and I'll show you where to find these as well. Okay, so to enroll a student, both versions, again, will need to enroll a student, and it's very, very simple. You just simply click on this button right here, click on Enroll Student underneath Teacher Tools, and you fill out the information right here. The only required pieces of information are the ones with the asterisks. And then you see we have different subgroup data that you're welcome to fill in right here. Down here we have a unique access PIN code that's unique for every student. And that access PIN code allows the student to log in independently. So the teacher does not have to go to the computer to log in the student. The student can log in from anywhere with this access PIN code. But a teacher does have the option to turn that feature on or off if the teacher wanted to make it so that the student could only log in like in the classroom with that teacher. That is a possibility. All right, so once they fill out that information, then the student will populate here on the teacher's class roster, and we'll have all these different students. All right, and I'll show you briefly what a diagnostic looks like. Now, Dr. Joe mentioned that earlier. We have an online diagnostic prescriptive that has 2 parts. We call it Diagnostic Part A and Diagnostic Part B. The diagnostic prescriptive measures a student's academic English language level of comprehension, and it goes, our diagnostic prescriptive goes anywhere from a 0.0 level reader all the way up to 12th grade ACT, SAT prep level material. How it does it. The diagnostic prescriptive starts asking the student progressively harder questions. And it will ask the student simple 0.0 level reader questions, and then the more questions that the student gets right, the higher the program will keep bumping the student up levels, asking them a little bit harder, and a little bit harder questions until we reach that SAT, ACT prep level. So a good thing to know is the better a student is doing on the diagnostic, the longer it's going to take them to actually complete that diagnostic prescriptive, or Part A of the diagnostic prescriptive. Part B of the diagnostic prescriptive is a pretest for the level that the student was placed at. And when we place a student at their challenge level. Earlier, Dr. Joe mentioned the students, we believe our students can do faster, higher, and more. We do not place students at their remediation level, an area where they're scoring 80% or above. If we have a 7th grader reading like a 2nd grader, we don't place them at a level where they're already knowing 80% or above the material. We like to find their challenge level, an area where they're getting about 40 to 60% of the questions right or wrong. So we use that in both the diagnostic prescriptive Part A and the diagnostic prescriptive Part B. The difference in the Part A versus the Part B is the Part B will ask 10 questions specifically about vocabulary in that lesson they're about to cover next. And if the student scores a 70% or above on that pretest, then the computer will automatically bump up the student to the next pretest on the next level. And then the computer is trying to search for that specific challenge level. That's how Part A and Part B work in conjunction with each other. Okay, and I can briefly show you what a diagnostic looks like right here. So after we've enrolled our student, the student will populate right here, and they're going to be automatically bookmarked for the diagnostic prescriptive. So the first time you as a teacher log in to help that student log on, or the student logs on independently, that'll bump them right here to the diagnostic prescriptive. And I'll show you what this looks like. We have two ways to launch the lessons. We can launch the lessons in our new HTML5 version, which works on iPads, Chromebooks, new PCs, Macs, MacBooks, tablets, Samsung tablets, anything. I have a Samsung Galaxy smartphone. I can even work on our program on my smartphone or an iPhone even by clicking this launch lesson button. And if you have some older model computers in your classroom, some of these old Dell computers that run Microsoft XP or some type of program like that, you can also launch our lessons using the original classic Flash version, which will work on those older computers. So you can launch it either way. I'll launch this one right here.
You must select the language by clicking on the English or Spanish button before you can continue.
Usted debe seleccionar un idioma pulsando el botón de inglés o español para poder continuar.
And just so you know, our program is available in both English and Spanish. We teach academic English vocabulary. However, we have the ability, if we had a nonverbal English student whose native language is Spanish and who spoke no English at all, the instructions to that student could be given in Spanish. That is an option through this.
Click on this button if you'd like to. In this section, you will be asked several questions. Just relax and don't be afraid to make mistakes. You'll do just fine. A sentence will appear in this box on the top of the screen. There will be a blank space in the sentence. You should read the sentence and use the mouse to click on the answer that best completes the sentence. After you have selected your answer, press the arrow to continue. If these directions make sense to you, press the green arrow to continue. Otherwise, press the question mark button to hear the directions again. Please read the sentence and select the answer that best finishes the sentence.
And now that the student is actually in the diagnostic prescriptive, looking at the possible answers, selecting the one they think it is, I'm just going to click a couple. I am going to intentionally get a couple wrong just to show you.
Welcome to Joseph's Readers Pre and Post Testing. In a few minutes, I'm going to ask you to answer a few questions. The questions will help to determine whether this story is suitable for you. Don't be nervous. You'll do just fine. Click on the word to find the best answer. Click on the OK box to record your choice.
Now, the part we finished just a second ago, that was diagnostic prescriptive part A. That was done really quickly because I got a bunch of the answers wrong. So I figured, hey, these easy 0.0 level questions, this is that student's challenge level. If I would have answered many of those questions right, the questions would have become progressively harder all the way up to ACT, SAT prep level. So this is the part B. This is the pre-test for the story one of the red level going to the part. And so right now in part B of the diagnostic, which I'm currently on, it is verifying the suggested placement from part A. It will ask me specific questions about the vocabulary covered in this level, in this lesson. and I'll get some of these right or wrong, just randomly. Okay. Now, we completed the diagnostic with that student, and if we pull up the score right here, and this is how you can look at some data for each one of your students after they've done the diagnostic. Right beside their name, there's a view button, and you can click on view right there to find out how they scored on different levels or lessons, or when they took a lesson, how much time it took them to take that lesson. Here we have the view details for this student. We can see the student's name and all that. We have the ability to transfer this that student in between teachers. That's a feature right here. We have the ability to leave notes about the student or edit the student's PIN code. We can print the step-by-step instructions for the student right here. These are the step-by-step instructions that you could print for each student so they can log in independently so the teacher doesn't have to log in for them, especially in our after-school setting. This saves a lot of time right there. You can print that for them. And we have the student's access PIN code right here. And then here we have the instructional history for the different levels the student may be in. We have the Joseph Reader's instructional history, any life skills level history, any verbal master history, any bookmark history. And I'll explain the bookmarks in just 1 second after this. Here we can see that on December 1st, I just took this diagnostic prescriptive and the pretest for this story and for this student. I was placed at Joseph Reader's red level, story 1, going to the park, lesson 1 of 5 pretest. It took me 1 minute and 31 seconds to complete it, and I scored a 50%. And so all that data is visible right here in one feature, but we can also build reports as well. You can also, as the educator, see how your students might perform at other levels. If you so choose, you can edit their bookmark. To do so, you click on this button right here, edit bookmark, and you can place them at the level or the diagnostic prescriptive again if you'd like to have them do it over. It's really simple. All you have to do is click on the bubble, click on the item you would like to put them at, and then you hit Save New Bookmark Location. I can also click on Joseph Reader's right here. I can change the level. I can change it to one of the stories, and I could do one of the 4 different parts that we're going to get into in just 1 second. All right, so that's those are options to edit the bookmark. And anytime you edit the student's bookmark, who did it, when it was done, what they were at before, and what level they were moved to will all be displayed down here underneath bookmark history. All right, so that is the view details tool right here. Let me see. I did some of these test students, these fake students earlier, just to show you some of the different levels and the different data points. I'd like to did one for the red level, one for the life skills level, and one for our verbal master level. The current student's bookmark location is listed in this column right here. The diagnostic date for the student is right here. The diagnostic placement for the student is listed right here, and their last activity, the last time they logged in and did something, will always be shown right here. Okay, and while I'm just thinking about it right now, for our administrative teachers or our lead teachers or the assistant principals who are going to be helping out to add teachers, you can add teachers. You don't need us to add teachers. You can add teachers or delete teachers anytime you wish. It's very easy. Right underneath here, the lead teacher or the assistant principal at the school will have access to this admin tools function, and here they can manage teachers, create new teachers, build reports, or edit an active list of students. To create a new teacher, it's really simple. You just click on Create a New Teacher, and you fill out the teacher's name, and then their email address. And then the moment you click, and then you can choose if you want to make them an administrator or not, so they can create teachers as well. And then you hit Save. And the moment you hit Save, an email goes to that teacher with their username, their password, and the quick start guides to help them get started. then I'll show you this right up here back in their class view. I'd like to show you actually what some of the lessons look like, because that's what we really need to focus some energy on. Great, we understand failure-free reading. We now know who we try to target and who we try to help. But now let's see what the actual lessons will look like. I'll first start with the 45 to 60-minute lesson, and then I'll talk about the adapted 30-minute lesson that we made specifically for New York City District 75. So with this 45 to 60-minute lesson, this lesson is designed for those students who are not having success initially with the 30-minute lesson. And the reason they might not be having success is they might need a little bit more teacher-led direct instruction. Those students who are, a lot of these students might be mild to moderate ID students or have various different types of learning disabilities. So with this 45 to 60-minute lesson, what a lesson would look like. It looks like that reference guide we mentioned a second ago, this 45 to 60-minute instructional sequence. And the guides, again, can be found underneath Teacher Tools. How to teach it, whether you're doing the Joseph Readers or the Life Skills or Verbal Master, they're both found underneath there, or they're all found underneath there on how to teach it. So it starts with the teacher manual. Now, you may not have a physical copy of a teacher manual in your classroom yet. You do have the ability to order that independently through the schools. However, you always have access to it with the electronic library found right underneath here underneath Teacher Tools. You have the electronic library, and you can click on that. And then you click on the library you need. Joseph Readers or Verbal Master or Life Skills, all those libraries are right here for you. So I'm going to click on Joseph Readers. And then I have the 4 levels of Joseph Readers, red, green, orange, and teal. And then we have all the stories broken down inside those levels. And each story, we have specific PDF files that you have access and authority to pull up anytime you need or print if you need. And you can use any materials in here with the electronic licenses that District 75 purchased for you. You can do whatever you need with these materials. The only thing you can't do is resell them, but no one does that, so that's fine. Right here underneath Going to the Park, you click on Teacher Manual for a 45 to 60-minute version of the instructional sequence. And that's pulling up. And you can either, I have his computer, Dr. Joe's computer, set to default download, but you can just open it as well so you don't have to download it. And here we have the teacher's manual for that first story, Going to the Park. We have a little introduction. This covers a lot of the things that we've already covered in our presentation. Some brief instructions on how to get started. A brief overview of the instructional sequence and the different components that are included in that print library we just looked at online. A roadmap helps you with icons in this instructional teacher manual to tell you what to do. We have these icons to help you know, okay, now it's time to go to the software, or now it's time to go to the independent activities. And brief descriptions of those sections. So you can look at that a little bit later. There's a note on instruction from Dr. Joe. And I want to get right down to Going to the Park. Lesson 1. When earlier we were saying that this material is scripted, we do mean it is completely scripted. That's why we use the quotation marks. We have exactly what the educator or the tutor or the person assisting with instruction needs. Lesson 1, to teach, if you had students placed at the red level, this is basically what you would say. You would say, today we're going to read a story about a person who was going to the park with his father and mother. And then you'll talk about the new words they're going to introduce. Today, you are going to learn many words in the story. Don't be afraid if you don't know what they all mean. You will still be able to read the story, so relax. You'll do just fine. Let's go over a few of these words. Tell me if you're not sure what some of these words mean. I'm here to help you. Remember, it is impossible to read something that you don't understand, so please ask me to explain any word you do not understand. Don't be afraid to ask. Are you ready? Then let's begin. What does the word? Then you insert the word, and then you ask them what that means. And that's what you do in that 45 to 60-minute direct instruction level. You introduce these words as the first part of this exercise, in the previewing. Then the next exercise through teacher-led direct instruction is the listening exercise. We'll ask the students, please listen as I read the first part of the story out loud. I'm going to the park. I'm going to the park with my father, and I'm going to the park with my father and my mother. As you can see, a lot of our methodology uses a scaffolding technique. Then the next exercise, presenting. Let's spend a few minutes talking about what we have just learned about the story. We'll ask factual questions. What was the person going to do? Who was the person going with? And the students will answer. Then you'll ask inferential questions. We believe in a multiple exposure, multiple context type of approach to literacy for these students who are really, really struggling. So that's why we do so many different exercises like this, especially like inferential exercises. We'll ask inferential questions like, how do you think the person feels about going to the park? How do you think the person felt? Why do you think the person was going with his parents? After that, we go into leading questions. Let's go over what we have just learned about this part of the story. I am going to the, and then you ask the questions. And then the students will give their answers. And you'll do all these. Then you'll hand out the instructional readers. We have two different types of readers in our electronic library. We have instructional readers and illustrated readers. Instructional readers are just the text of the story. Illustrated readers obviously will have pictures to help kind of guide the context of the stories. So when it's time to go to the instructional reader, as noted right here, and it's always a good idea just to have the stuff printed out beforehand, or get a copy or purchase copies from us ahead of time so you have it in your class. I'm doing that. I'm going to go and get a couple of these up. Here we have a copy of the instructional reader. This is the one without picture-aided guide. Here was that first lesson. I'm going to the park. I'm going to the park with my father. I'm going to the park with my father and my mother. That's your lesson 1. And then this would be lesson 2. We introduced the new paragraph. So that's where you have them read that on the teacher manual right here for reading. And you just follow this script. And we do the review again with the instructional readers. And you have the students read the material out loud. Then the students go to the software. And after that, they go to the independent activities. And I'm just going to show you what the independent activities is, since that is right. Actually, no, I'll go to the software so you can see the appropriate sequence. So then the student independently, or the teacher, logs in the student. To do so, if you're the teacher to launch a lesson, all you gotta do is click on the action button right here beside the current bookmark. And the student, again, can launch a lesson 2 ways. They can launch it for the older model computers using the original classic version. And then the HTML5 version for the newer machines, like your iPads or Chromebooks or tablets, right here. So I'll just go and launch this lesson.
Today, you are going to continue reading the story about the person who is going to the park with his father and his mother. Please listen as the story talks about how they are going to get to the park. You will be introduced to 3 new words: drive, car, and country. Hello, my name is Dr. Joe Lockovich. I am the author and the developer of Failure-Free Reading. Today, we're going to read a story about a person who is going to the park with his father and mother. You're going to be introduced to many words in this story. You might know some of the words. If you do, that's great. But if you don't know any of these words, don't worry. You will be able to read this story anyway. Trust me, you're going to do very well. Just relax. You'll do great.
That part right here, this part right here, that is what we made specifically for New York City District 75. This portion right here was meant to replace some of the time constraints for that 30-minute model. So instead of doing the teacher-led instruction, we made this part right here for those students who are a little bit higher functioning. Not for our students who are moderately ID or not have. This is for those students who at first we find out in the after-school program they can do this with our program just with the software and just with the independent activities, and who don't need as much of the 45, 60-minute instruction. So we'll start lesson.
Welcome to Genesis Readers 1 Pre-Teaching Lessons.
The first important vocabulary word for this story is car. C-A-R. Car.
A vehicle with 4 wheels and a motor that you ride in on the roads. Please click on the forward arrow to continue with this lesson.
The next important vocabulary word is drive. D-R-I-V-E. Drive.
Ride in a vehicle like a car or bus or truck. Please click on the forward arrow to continue with this lesson.
The next important vocabulary word is country. C-O-U-N-T-R-Y. Country.
Undeveloped land away from towns or cities, usually where you find small towns and a lot of farms, but not a lot of buildings. Please click on the forward arrow to continue with this lesson, or click on the backward arrow to hear this word again. In this part of the story, the person tells you about how they will get to the park. He also tells you where the park is located. We will drive.
The phrase
We will drive
is made of the words we will drive. The phrase
We will drive tells you what the people are doing. Please click on the forward arrow to continue this lesson, or click on the backward arrow to hear this phrase again. We are now going to combine or put together the phrase, we will drive,
with a new phrase. The new phrase is
in our car.
Is made of the words in our car. The phrase
in our car tells you what the people are driving. Please click on the forward arrow to continue this lesson, or click on the
when we put the phrase
we will drive
with the phrase
in our car,
we get the sentence
we will drive in our car.
The sentence
we will drive in our car
is made of the words we will drive in our car. The sentence
we will drive in our car tells you what the people are doing and where they are driving. They are driving in their car. Please click on the forward arrow.
The person is now going to tell you some more information by combining or putting together the sentence
we will drive in our car
with a new phrase. The new phrase is
to the park in the country.
Is made of the words to the park in the country. The phrase
to the park in the country tells you where the people are driving. Please click on the forward arrow to continue this lesson.
When we put the sentence
we will drive in our car
with the phrase
to the park in the country,
we get the sentence
we will drive in our car to the park in the country.
Is made of the words we will drive in our car to the park in the country. The sentence
we will drive in our car to the park in the country now tells you where the people are driving to. They are driving to the park in the country. Please click on the forward arrow to continue with this.
Please listen as I read this part of the story to you.
We will drive in our car to the park in the country. If you would like to hear this passage again, press the plate, what are they driving in?
So now we did the pre-teaching lesson online, the computer assisted pre-teaching lesson. Now we ask the pre-teaching questions. There's 4 parts to every lesson. There's a pre-teaching lesson, and that's the first one, the first part that we're going to go over right now, and ask them 3 pre-teaching questions. And what are they driving in?
In our car.
Fantastic. The phrase
in our car tells you exactly what they are driving in. What are they going to do?
And I'll show you what if they get the answer wrong. I'll show you that.
In our car.
Sorry, but that was not correct. The phrase,
In our car, does not tell you what they are going to do. What are they going to do? We will drive.
excellent. The phrase,
We will drive tells you exactly what they are going to do. Where are they driving to?
And if something happened and the student couldn't hear the question that the audio component was reading or understand what this is, they can have it repeated to them.
Where are they driving to? To the park in the country.
excellent. The phrase,
To the park in the country tells you exactly where they are driving to.
great job. This completes this part of the program.
Pre-teaching.
Please click the continue arrow to go to the next part of the program, or click on the quit button to return to the main menu.
The program automatically pushes the kid forward all the time. And so the teacher doesn't need to edit a bunch of bookmarks and jump them and log in to jump them from one part to the next. The computer does that for you.
We will drive in our car. Click the play button to have the sentence read to you. Click the arrow to continue this story. We will drive in our car to the park. Click the play button to have the sentence read to you. Click the arrow to continue this story. We will drive in our car to the park in the country. Click the play button to have the sentence read to you. Click the arrow to continue this story.
And a moment ago, you'll notice that this said lesson 2 of 5, pre-teaching, and now we're moving into the word recognition exercises.
Click on the word asked for. Click on the repeat button if you need to hear the word again. Click on the OK button to record your choice. Please select the word will. Great job. Please select the word country. Terrific. Please select the word park. Fantastic. Please select the word car. Excellent. Please select the word drive. Fantastic. Please select the word hour.
And just for the sake of time, I'm not going to get any wrong on here, but just like before, if they did get it wrong, the computer would let them know they got it wrong and to select another answer.
Terrific. Please select the word the. Terrific. Please select the word we. Fantastic. Please select the word in. Excellent. Please select the word to. Excellent.
All right, and that is the end of the lesson for the word recognition exercises. So we've done the pre-teaching lesson, and then we just completed the word recognition exercises. And now we'll move over
Welcome
to
to
the
the Joseph Reader's reinforcement activities. This is your chance to see how well you've done. Let's see how well you recognize the words that you've read in this lesson.
Click on the word to find the best answer. Click on the OK box to record your choice.
And likewise, if I were to get this answer wrong, it would tell me that I got it wrong and ask me to select again.
Great job. Terrific. Fantastic. 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 Excellent. Great job. Great job. Great job. Excellent. Great job. Fantastic.
Now you have the opportunity to practice your spelling with some of the words from this lesson. Don't be nervous. You'll do just fine. Please click on the word you would like to spell. Then click on the word in the selection box to continue. Car. Car.
C-A-R.
Car.
Study the spelling. If you need to hear and see the word spelled again, click on the word. When you are ready to spell the word, click on Continue.
So you can click on that to hear it and see the spelling again.
Please spell the word
Car. Please use the letter buttons on your screen or your keyboard to spell the word. Click the OK button to check your spelling.
So yeah, for our touchpad users, they can use the letters on the screen, or if they're a keyboard user, they can just type it on the keyboard.
Terrific. When you've finished with the spelling exercise, click the skip button to move on.
And I'm just going to go and skip that now for
Great
time.
job! You've completed all the activities for this lesson. Next, you'll be taken to a screen that will allow you to review the passage for this lesson. Congratulations, you've finished all the activities for this lesson. Take a moment to read this page. If you have a printer and you'd like to read it to someone else, press the print button. When you're done with this page, press the forward arrow to go back to the main menu.
Either one of these will work, that one or this one, or they could print it to take it home and read it to their parent. And then that completes the lesson. And here this stops the students so they don't get too far ahead of the other students that they're grouped with. Okay. And that is what the lesson looks like. There's 4 parts. There's the pre-teaching lesson, the talking book, and the word recognition exercises, and the reinforcement activities. Those are the 4 parts of a lesson. And now I'll close that and go back here. And you'll see that earlier this said lesson 2 of 5, and now this says lesson 3 of 5. Ideally, we go through 1 lesson a day with each student, or more, 1 or more lessons a day with each student. And then we can see their progress right here. This is a new feature that was not, if you were a Failure Free Reading teacher last year, this is a new feature we added this year to make your lives even easier. Instead of going to the build report feature, which I'll also cover in a moment, you can look at a student's individual daily progress reports right here. And you just click on the button right here. So I'll look at that. Okay. And here we have the daily progress reports. You can see the date that this was done on. I did this earlier today, but if I did this yesterday, lesson 1 that is, if I did lesson 1 yesterday, yesterday's date would be right here, but I did both these lessons today. And here you can see where I got that question wrong, and then you can see my scores for the word recognition exercises and the score for the reinforcement activities. My percentage score for that lesson and my story score right here. You can see the date and time that this report was run, the teacher's name, the level it was for right here, and the student's name. John Red Level is the student's name I had. So that's a quick feature, and I'll show you that for everyone else too. I did some of these as samples. We did a sample of the life skills. Now, life skills doesn't have a online pre-teaching component because life skills students, we automatically assume if they're 16 to 21 and moderately ID students that the teacher-led instruction through the teacher manual is going to be done. But we have the word recognition scores right here, and the reinforcement activity scores, the date stamp, and the percentage score for that lesson. And then we can look at the cumulative score for that entire story right over here. So this is a great way to keep these daily progress reports are a great way to see if how a student is doing on a daily basis. And also what we were meaning earlier to try to figure out if the 30-minute model was not working for the students, you'd probably find that out here. We would look at one of these reports and, you know, hypothetically just say that the student did not score an 8 and a 10 right here. Let's say they scored a 4 and a 3. We might say, you know what, this might be a good candidate for a student to move into that 45 to 60-minute model because the 30-minute model was not successive. You can look at this report and find that out. All right. Well, so we talked about the lessons. We launched an online lesson. We covered the 4 parts of the online lesson. There is a difference at Verbal Master that I'll show you. Verbal Master's online activities, those for our students who are reading 6th grade, the 12th grade, ACT, SAT, Prep. Those 4 categories that it measures are synonyms, definition of the vocabulary, fill in the blank exercises, and comprehension related questions. So those are those type of questions right here. And I can actually show you the difference, because life skills and the elementary solution, they do ask you the same type of word recognition questions and reinforcement activities. They have the same parts except for the pre-teaching lesson. However, Verbal Master, since it's different, I can show you what that lesson looks like briefly. So they've already completed Level 1, Cluster 1, Unit 1, so now they're bookmarked for Unit 2, Word 1.
Argument. Argument. Fight. To fight with words or to try to change someone's mind or opinion. The argument between the couple started over where they wanted to eat. Is kicking and screaming a good argument for getting a job?
A comprehension question.
Great job. Argument. A. R. G. U. M. E. N. T. Argument. Please spell the word argument. Click on the OK button to record your answer. Great job. Assumed. Assumed. Believed. Believed without knowing or trusted an unsure idea. The boys got in trouble because they assumed they had permission to leave the building. Should a coach assume he is going to lose before starting a game? Fantastic. Assumed. A. S. S. U. M. E. D. Assumed. Please spell the word assumed. Click on the great job. Approval. Approval. Like. To like something or to say yes to an idea. The boy liked to have his father's approval before he went on a trip. Does a teacher need to get a student's approval before giving a grade? I'm sorry, your answer was not correct. Let's review the definition of the word one more time. Approval, to like something or to say yes to an idea. Approval, A, P, P, R, O, V, A, L. Approval. Please spell the word approval. Click on the OK. Excellent. Attractive. Attractive. Pretty. Pretty. Nice to look at. Pleasing. Attractive. A. T. T. R. A. C. T. I. V. E. Attractive. Please spell the word attractive. Click on the OK. Fantastic. Assure. 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 A. S. S. U. R. E. Assure. Please spell the word assure. Terrific.
All right, that's the end of the first part of that online portion for Verbal Master. Now we can do the unit review synonyms.
Click and drag any word to reveal the synonym or definition underneath. Argument. Fight. Assumed. Believed. Approval. Approval, like.
And that works for all these. I'm just going to skip through.
Click and drag the vocabulary word to its synonym or definition. Hit the OK button to check your answer. Argument. Terrific. Argument. Fight. Assumed. Fantastic. Assumed. Believed. Approval. Great job. Approval. Like. Attractive. Attractive. Terrific. Attractive. Pretty. Assure. Excellent. Assure. Guarantee. Click and drag any word to reveal the synonym or definition underneath. Click and drag the vocabulary word to its synonym or definition. Hit the OK button to check your answer. Argument. Terrific. Argument. To fight with words or to try to change someone's mind or opinion. Assumed. Fantastic. Assumed. Believed without knowing or trusted an unsure idea. Approval. Terrific. Approval. To like something or to say yes to an idea. Attractive. Terrific. Attractive. Pretty. Nice to look at. Pleasing. Assure. Great job. Assure. To be sure or to make calm and relaxed.
If you would like to hear the paragraph read back to you, click on the Read Paragraph button. If you would like to review the definition of any of the words, click on the highlighted word.
So they click on these words to review the definition or synonym.
Find and click on the word that best fits the sentence.
They click on that, and they click on it.
Great job. Great job. Terrific. Great job. Terrific. Please pick the correct answer to the question asked of you. If you need to hear the question again, click the question button, click the OK button to record your choice. What was the argument about? Great job. Where did the girl assume she could go? Fantastic. What would the parents not give their approval for? Terrific. What did the girl try to assure her parents of? Fantastic. Was the girl's idea attractive to her parents? Great job.
And that completes the unit review for the synonym. Okay. All right. We can go over here, and the scores are recorded there. Okay, so now we've talked about this in the daily progress report, and we can talk a little bit more about the other reports that you're able to run. Over here, those are underneath Teacher Tools again, and we have our build report function. And let me refresh that. I got to change the size of the screen. In the build report function, we have several different reports. We have the multiple stories report. It's one of my favorite reports. I'll click on that. You can click on that. The admin for the school can run it for all the different teachers, but a teacher can run the report for all his or her different students. When you click on a report, a little box pops up, like right there if you saw, and it has a basic description of the report. You can even, before you even have any student data, you can run a sample of the report to kind of just see what the report might look like or how it might print out on your printer. You can do that right here. You can select that. I can select all the students, and then I can run the report. The multiple stories report, it'll look like this. It'll have the date and time that this report was run. It'll have the student's name, the teacher's name, the school, demo school for this course, their pretest score for the level or the story, their post-test score for the level or the story, a graphical representation of the pre and post-test. It'll have the number of lessons in that story, the number of lessons they've completed, and the number of new words they learned in those lessons or story. It'll also tell you their time on task. It will say how many hours, minutes, and seconds they spent on that specific story. And it'll show their pre-test and post-test scores. Like I said, this is just for all the different students. Here's another student's name mentioned there. Here's a great one for the John Red level. We even had listed the words that were covered under those lessons. And the software total time on task is measured right here. Then we, since in the 45 to 60 minute model, we estimated that the software is 1/3 of the time. So for the total estimated methodology time, that would be the software time multiplied by 3, because the teacher-led instruction should take about 1/3 of the time. The computer should take about 1/3 of the time, and the independent activities should take about 1/3 of the time. And so that's why we have a total time of this, and that's different than the software time. All right, so that's the multiple stories report. That's a great report. Another great report that I like is the suggested group placement report. And I can see all the different students I had. If I'm doing this at a school with 20, 30, 40 students, I can see real quickly about where my students were diagnosed at and their recommended placement, and I can even sort it. I can sort the data several different ways just by clicking on the icons up here. And that way I can help group the students by ability level. That's a great report. The class independent login report, right here. I can have everyone's student PIN number right here in the lesson they're on. That's great a lot of times if you want to give that to a substitute one day to make sure everyone has the access code to log in. And then you can run a report on their attitude surveys right here as well. And let me see. There's one report I want to stress. It's called the Detailed Software Lesson Report. You have been warned. Do not run this report for all your students and then walk away before looking at it. Or I'm sorry, do not print this report for all your students and then walk away. This detailed software lesson report is exactly what it sounds like. It's very detailed. It talks about the right answers, the wrong answers they had, how many minutes and seconds they were on each lesson, graphical representations. There's a lot of data on this report. And when you get to the point where you're having 20, 30, 40, 50 plus students in your school or in your class or under a teacher who use this use our program, and they've been using this for a month, 2 months, 3 months, if you print this report, it could be 200 pages long, and you could go through all your toner and all your paper. So this is one of those reports. It's great if you're going to save it as a PDF, but I never recommend just like running this report, then hitting print and walking away, because it'll use all your paper. So you have been warned about that. But I'll show you this report. Students. All right, the diagnostic, again, it has the title of the report and the date and time it was run. And it has the teacher's name, school name, student name right here. All that information right here. And tells you about their pre-test scores, when it was done, how long it took them to do it. It has the question they were asked, the correct answer, the answer they chose, so you can see the difference, what they're having trouble with. And it gets very, very detailed. All the right and wrong answers for all the levels, all the activities, all the reinforcement activities, all the word recognition exercises, all the pre-teaching lessons, everything is recorded. Every single keystroke is recorded, and we see the right answer and the wrong answer and the answer they chose. Everything is recorded. And so this report, like we talked about, is very, very detailed. We talked about all the words they're learning, their synonyms, everything like that. It's a very, very detailed report. Do not just use our program for a month or 2 months or 3 months, have 20, 30 students in your class, and then run this report. You will use all your paper. So you can run it as a PDF or run it for one student, but don't use it for all your students because they'll go through all your paper. This is a fantastic detailed report. And these daily progress reports right here are the very same reports that you would find right here. That's just a quick link. These are quick links to these reports also right here, the daily progress reports. All right, let me see. Those are the different reporting features. Videos, we have several helpful videos for you. We have another pre-recorded 90-minute webinar training right here that you can watch anytime. An overview of failure-free reading, and different portions of our program. If you have a question on what's a green flag or what's a bookmark, or how do I access the electronic library, we have videos all about those questions right in here that you can access at any time and then watch a quick little video on that. The only one that's 90 minutes is this one that says implementation overview. All right, and let me see. Here for our administrators, our lead teachers, or our admins, or our APs who oversee the schools and the usage of the program at the schools. Here you'll find your edit active and active list of students underneath admin tools, and you can activate or inactivate students depending on who's on your current roster or using the failure-free reading program. And all you do is click on the bubble for inactive or click on the bubble for active, and you hit save, and then that will free up licenses for you to use. We also have a bunch of different certificates for the different levels of the program that you could print off, and I'll show you one of these that you could print off for the students and fill out their name right here, and they can send it home to their parents or keep it in their folder. And other than that, we have a great FAQ button right here. If you're having any issues, like if you have any type of computer issue, like we said, our software is compatible with anything, but if you're experiencing some kind of issue where a student is on a specific computer is having a hard time getting on there, we have different things on here about our firewall and security application requirements right here. And a lot of those questions can be answered right here within these first two questions, really. So this is really important right here. I recommend that these first two questions, what are the computer requirements and how do we set up our firewalls? If you have techs who help you in your building or a tech who's responsible for helping a cluster of buildings, I would recommend copying and pasting these two questions and answers and sending it to them so they make sure that all the computers and the network in the school will essentially make us compatible and allow our students to use our program. You can just copy and paste that, and that usually suffices for most techs. Okay. And then let me see. So yeah, we have covered just about everything. The difference in I want to stress again, the difference between the 30-minute after-school model and the 45 to 60-minute model. The 30-minute after-school model will work for a lot of students if they do not need the teacher-led instruction, and you'll know if they need the teacher-led instruction by looking at the daily progress scores. If they're doing well in the daily progress scores, they probably do not need that extra 15 minutes of teacher-led instruction from the from the teacher manual. Another thing I wanted to point out, though, is the independent activities. That's the third part of the methodology. We went over the teacher-led teacher manual for the direct instruction. We went over the software for Joseph Readers and for Verbal Master. I wanted to go over now the independent activities. And they're right here. The independent activities are a variety of different types of activities that our students will use, whether they are in the 30-minute model or the 45 to 60-minute model. And these independent activities look like these. Basic instruction right here, and you can print these off for your students. You have access with the electronic library to print off whatever you need. Let's see if I can rotate that one. Okay. We have fill in the blank exercises. We have writing exercises. We have alphabetical order exercises. We have sentence unscrambling exercises. Word matching exercises. Story illustration exercises. Word illustration exercises. Crossword. And short answer. And those are the type of exercises we have. Remember, when we talked about multiple exposures, multiple contexts, we start introducing this vocabulary, making them think about it in different ways and introducing it to them repetitively in different ways. So that is are the independent activities. And you have the independent activities for each one of the stories listed here. Oh, yeah, there they are. I did already have them downloaded. Oh, great. Okay, so with that said, does anyone have any questions? Any questions at all? Please feel free to unmute yourself and let me know. Or you can use this chat box right here. I see that some of you are having trouble with audio. Okay. If there are no further questions, Dr. Joe and I are both here. Again, my name is Marshall Ward, to assist you in any way possible. We will be doing the next live training, on-site training for New York City District 75 will be on January 30th, which is a Monday. But we're also looking to set up some other opportunities as well for training. If you need to reach Dr. Joe or myself, my phone number, the 1-800 number, and my email on the email that I sent to everyone. Our phone number is toll-free. It is 888-233-7323. And my email is Marshall, M-A-R-S-H-A-L-L .ward, W-A-R-D, @failurefree.com. And failure-free is lumped together like one word. And Dr. Joe's email is Joe, J-O-E, .Lockovich, that's L-O-C-K-A-V as in Victor, I-T-C-H, @failurefree.com. And failure-free, once again, lumped together like one word. Dr. Joe, any final thoughts for us?
No, we're just very, very excited to have this opportunity to be here. I hope you find it exciting. Marshall did an outstanding job. I hope you see that it does not have to be cumbersome. It's easy to do. When you have more than 3 3 groups. You can start with the computer-assisted instruction. Let's see how that works. As long as you do your checklist, I kind of think of the computer-assisted instruction as failure-free life, and that's wonderful. If it doesn't work, you have your second option, which is direct guided instruction, which is failure-free reading intensive. Either way, we can help you reach those kids who haven't had an experience reading with expressive fluency, with comprehension, and also help you change attitude. That's about it. I want to thank you all, and at this moment in time, we are done.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for attending. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.